Welcome back, Fiat fans. So it's been over 3 years since I did the first test drive of the 124 Spider, and it's time for an update. Now, if you've been paying attention to the blog or the channel, you've probably figured out by now that I've already bought one for myself. I've been wanting one ever since I did that test drive because it's really just a phenomenal car. Like, I'm still impressed with the car. And let's start off by addressing the elephant in the room. It's a Fiata. And that's not a bad thing. The only parts that aren't Mazda are the engine and the styling. Even the window sticker says it's only 20% Italian. Which, you know, you would think, me being an Italian car enthusiast, that would bother me, but it really doesn't. I've always really respected the Fiata, and I've owned a couple of Mazdas as well. It's fun to see the combination of both Mazda and Fiat quirks. And let's face it, it's just better bolted together than the 500 line is. And as for that Italian styling, I much prefer it over the Mazda's squinting cat face. The retro styling of the 124 really works. The hood creases look a little goofy from the outside, but from the inside, it's really reminiscent of the classic 124s. How the fenders come up over the hood, and then you have those power bulges. Beautiful. Now, new for the 2019s, the infotainment is standard in all the cars, which I think is kind of disappointing because it clutters up what would be just a simply elegant dash. But they had to do that because of the backup camera requirement. Now, this is a Classica trim, which is the most basic model, and the interior on it is like nice and clean and simple. I really like it. These cloth seats are pretty good for a base model seat. They have like decent bolstering and are pretty comfortable. I like them. Now, normally I don't buy new cars. I just don't think the depreciation hit is worth it. But I really wanted to buy something brand new in a manual transmission, just to increase that manual transmission take rate. I felt it was a bit of a moral obligation. And initially I wanted the Abarth model, but I'm actually not disappointed at all in getting the base model. The only options this car had was the keyless entry and the all-weather floor mats. The price difference between this car and an Abarth trim level is about $9,000, and I can do a lot of mods to this car for $9 grand. So the first upgrade I plan on doing is going to be new wheels and tires. Now, the tires that come on this car are Yokohama Advent Sports, which are pretty good tires, but I can do better. The main problem I have with these tires is that they're a skinny 195 section, and the wheels are only 6.5 inches. So I plan on getting slightly bigger wheels at 7 inches wide and slightly bigger tires, maybe like 205s. I really don't want to over-tire the car. I've over-tired cars in the past, and while you do get more grip, you kind of sacrifice handling for that grip. It makes the car feel more numb. And I want this car to feel lively. The other thing you have to consider is unsprung weight. Bigger wheels and bigger tires are going to weigh more. And with a lightweight car like this, they can be kind of sensitive to the unsprung weight. Now, the next upgrade I'll be doing is to the suspension. And the factory suspension is very soft and compliant and very smooth, which I actually really like. I like to drive on these back roads, so I don't want too harsh of a suspension. However, the problem I have with it is when you enter a turn, the car just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls, and it's very lazy to take a set. And while it's rolling into the turn, it slightly washes out just a little bit. I wouldn't want to call it understeer, but vaguely the hint of understeer. But then once it takes a set, the car actually gives you a little push from the rear. And this isn't a terrible handling characteristic. I can get used to it. But I just want to make it less lazy in the corners. I think going with a little bit stiffer springs and lowering springs too, no more than an inch. I definitely don't want to lower it more than an inch. And probably some Bilstein shocks. The A-Barth comes with Bilstein shocks, so I'll just replicate that with a little bit lower and a little bit stiffer springs. Now, as many of you know, the 124 comes with the exact same engine that the A-Barth 500 does. It's a 1.4 liter turbo. And really the only difference between the A-Barth trim level and the 124 and like the base models is the tuning. The sport button that the A-Barth has gives it a more aggressive torque curve. I plan on throwing a tune on here, or maybe even a piggyback, just to replicate and actually go beyond that A-Barth level of performance on the engine. And you know, I never really wanted another black car. I've got plenty of black cars as it is. But I guess the silver lining on that is I can just wrap this thing. Maybe get a funky color. What kind of color do you guys think I should get? I'm sure you guys know how the A-Barth 500 sounds. And this sounds a little pathetic compared to it, so I'll be fixing that as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys subscribe to follow along with the modifications I'm going to make to this thing. Should be a lot of fun. And if you're interested in knowing more about the shopping experience during the weird times we're living in right now, head on over to bookautowerks.com and look at the blog post titled COVID Car Shopping. Thanks again. See you guys later.